this product has been under development for some 15 years. When I was introduced to it in 2007, Mr. Gene Kaiser had been diagnosed in 2000 with a serious illness. And his illness was terminal. He was given 6 months to live. He then began doing research on his disease and found that his disease grew in a low oxygenated environment and is an inflammatory disease. Unfortunately, in America and the world, we have something called hypoxia, which is the lack of oxygen. And what's happening in our environment, the more CO2 we pump in the environment, guess what? The lower the oxygen levels are. We're really beginning to understand the long-term implications of that. So Mr. Kaiser had been doing research around oxygen utilization in a completely different industry. He was actually in the bioremediation business. And his products are actually being used today in the Gulf in the oil cleanup effort. He designed the microbes that you introduce to the oil that consume the oil and then output water and CO2 to allow it to be absorbed back into the environment. But the problem with these microbes that he created, they worked, but they didn't work fast enough. So he had to create an accelerant that was biodegradable, it wouldn't create another hazard in and of itself. And he hypothesized if he increased the oxygen utilization of these microbes, they would have more energy, they would reproduce faster, they would consume more oil. That's exactly what happened. So for 10 years, he had these products at work in a completely different industry when he was diagnosed with this disease. But because he was so familiar with this piece of the anatomy, if you will, the biology of oxygen utilization, found that his disease was tied to it, he reformulated what he had been using in the bioremediation products, using FDA-approved GROS ingredients, and began consuming the product himself. Now, he had an 85% oxygen saturation level, which there's devices, $50 online you can buy that will register your oxygen saturation levels and your pulse rate. Consumed one product, he went from an 85% oxygen saturation level to a 98 within 20 minutes. This is something that we've seen time and time and time again. So we took this information